I love Muay Thai. I used to train 3 times a week for several years. I've taken seminars from big names like Nongo and Rod Tang, and even took a couple private lessons at the famous Tiger Muay Thai in Thailand. And of course, I watched a couple fights while I was there. Even though I'm not currently taking classes, I still practice in my home gym twice a week or so, and I still get to utilize it during sparring at my current gym. But I never had an intention to compete. After all, I started training at the age of 36, which is when most pro fighters are starting to consider retirement. I never thought I'd be able to stand toe to toe with younger fighters, so I just planned on doing it for fun. That changed a little when I learned about a competition called the Muay Thai Development League, which is designed with beginners in mind. It uses the same rule set as an amateur fight, but there's no winners or losers, no record to worry about, and you've got some extra protection to keep your head and your chest safe. It was billed to me as basically judged sparring, and fighters are told to pull their punches and keep things light and technical. As it turns out, that was more of a friendly suggestion than a rule, but we'll get to that later. I thought this would be a safer way to give me a taste of what competition was like and see if I was capable of holding my own as I approach 40. And it was a hell of a lot of fun and made me realize I'm a lot more capable than I thought I was, but also where I have some serious holes in my game that need some work and just how stressful the anxiety of competition can be. So I thought it might be fun to take a look at my footage from the weekend and show you my thoughts on how things went. Let's check it out. So, here we go, round number 1 of my very first fight, and let me tell you, my nerves were as high as they could get. Here my opponent attempts to land a teep, but I step back, catch it, fire back with a cross that gets blocked, and they respond with a good rear hook. Before anyone comments about the basic rookie mistakes I'm making, like dropping my hands or having bad footwork, trust me, I know. I had real bad competition anxiety, and I promise I usually look better in sparring. We both land good jabs. I follow up with a body kick and move my head offline so her cross misses, and she follows up with a good leg kick. Throws a body kick, which I manage to catch, and then I chase her down and push against her neck in order to get the sweep. I'm doing pretty good in the clinch here, and I try to go for a sweep. She ends up getting loaded onto my back a bit, which would have made this illegal, but the ref seems to have let it slide. Here she throws a teep, which I avoid by stepping offline and catching, but as I chase her, I lose the leg, and she catches me with a stiff jab. I'm starting to feel really good in the clinch here, and I land a couple of really good knees. Go for another sweep. That one was blatantly on the back, so I give up on it. Get a little bit of a chiding from the ref on that one anyway. And there's the bell and the end of my very first round of competitive Muay Thai. On to round number 2. My opponent had really good pressure in round 1, so I start by trying to keep distance with teeps, but she just walks through him like the Terminator. I start showboating here a little bit, but really this is just me trying to take a pause and catch my breath. It looks like I'm going to go for a single leg attempt here, but really this is her attempting a sweep and me just barely managing to keep my balance. You know, I really want to give credit to my opponent in this match. We both kept it very nice and controlled. She really understood the spirit of this event, and I would say this was somewhere between a medium to hard spar at worst. Match number 2 wasn't quite as forgiving, and we'll get to that in a bit.
I fire a big overhand right, which connects, but she responds by putting the pressure on to get me in the corner and lands a good leg kick. She tries to land another to the body, but I'm ready and connect with a solid cross, followed up with a head kick. She catches my teep here, but I manage to avoid the sweep by clinching and then landing a few good hooks to end the round. Start of the third and final round, and let me tell you, I am so gassed. I tried to start again with some teeps, but that doesn't work, so I close distance for a clinch again. And that works out a little bit better for me, landing some good hooks. Here she catches my teep, but I manage to escape and catch hers in return. I try to get the leg lift sweep, but she survives by breaking my posture while retreating backwards, and I get a little scolding for taking too many steps with my sweep attempt. In case it's not clear here, I am absolutely exhausted by this point. It really cannot be overstated just how much competition anxiety can sap your cardio. Finishing strong with a good combination that lands me a jab, a lead hook, and a rear hook to end on. Big hugs, lots of respect to my opponent for putting up a hell of a great fight, and we are moving on to fight number 2. Alright, after a nice long break to get my breath back, here we go with my second fight of the day. So, this fighter was a last-minute swap, and they warned me beforehand that he was known to be aggressive and hit hard. But I give him the benefit of the doubt and start out pretty easy. And right away, he lets me know that we're in for a battle, as he gets me with a jabbed uppercut that has me seeing stars, and the only thing I think is, oh, cowabunga it is. Here he gets me to bite on the kick feint, lands a good body kick, and follows up with a good lead hook. Here I throw a bit of a wild combination, starting with a head kick that falls a little low and a lead hook that just misses, but following up with a barrage that mostly lands before we separate. And I can see right away that he didn't like any of that. Another good exchange for both of us here, but he comes out on top with this huge lead hook. Another good combination from him here, starting with the double pump jab, leading to some good strikes landing. I managed to land a haymaker into the clinch, but he exits with a knee. A good intercepting teep here that lands a little low, but my cup does its job. And there's the end of round number 1. And round number 2 is going to pick up kind of where we left off, but this time the strike to the cup is a little harder, and I need just a minute to compose myself. My opponent is unfortunately starting to get a handle on my kicks and makes me pay by catching this one and turning it into a beautiful sweep, which is going to become a theme for the rest of this fight. We have a pretty good exchange here, both of us landing some really solid shots on each other. This here was definitely the hardest shot I took in the whole match, as I catch a big overhand right into lead hook that wobbles my legs and rocks me hard. My lights definitely went out for a second there. I try to keep distance with a teep to regain my composure and get another sweep for my trouble. I'm back in the game and try to fake him out with a hop to close distance. I eat a jab on the way in, but land a few good hooks before clinching up. Here I plant a teep, land in southpaw, and deliver a big lead hook that I think dazed him quite a bit. I follow up with another hook combination while he's hurt, but he recovers quickly. And there's the bell for the end of round number 2. On to the third and final round. I miss with a long-range uppercut, but connect over the top with a good rear hook. This looked like a big hit, but luckily went just past my head. Once again, teeping into southpaw and landing that lead hook. I catch his jumping scissor kick, but he catches me with my hands down. Makes me pay for it twice. I fire back with a kick, and once again, he just catches and chops down that tree. Nothing really technical to break down here. I just love how flush this cross landed. Once again, I think my exhaustion is really starting to show here in the waning seconds of the round. Chops me down one final time, and when I land hard. Knocks the wind out of me, and I struggle to get up. Luckily, he's a good sport, helps me back up to my feet, and we're just about at the end. And with that, my first 2 fights are over. Thanks to my opponents for the great matches. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Please like and subscribe and all that, and I will see you in the next video.